Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, sir, for being here today. I enjoyed reading your report for the outrageousness of some of the things that are listed in there. And one of the questions that I have, about 80% of the administration's IT spending goes to maintain legacy systems. Many of those systems, most Americans would think would be incredibly out of date. What's a more appropriate, investment to maintenance ratio?
What we've said, and I'll stay upon our expert in the IT area, what we've said is that this should be under operational reevaluation every year. There are ways to drive down technology costs. In a lot of areas, the costs are decreasing if you're making the proper investments and reinvestments. We find a lot of duplication where the systems are being duplicated because of a lack of oversight and a portfolio assessment. The Congress has underscored the need to be able to do this in the agencies. But unfortunately, the trends are going in the wrong direction, where there's additional spending in the O&M area, operations and maintenance area, rather than coming down as it should be in that area. And Dave could talk about more specific recommendations that we've made.
Yeah, Congressman Hurd, to highlight the trends, we are spending $80 billion spent right now. We're only spending about $15 billion on new development. The remaining is going towards operations and maintenance. That's why in our high-risk report, there's many areas where we have inefficiencies. Data center consolidation, there's about $7 to $10 billion on the table if we consolidate data centers appropriatly. There's also
on that question, the report highlights as shy of 10,000 data centers. What should be, where should that number be?
Well, I think the plan is to close about 4,000 of those 10,000 roughly. That's the game plan for all the major federal agencies right now. And the game plan is to save at least $7.5 billion through 2017. So that's right around the corner. In addition to data centers, we have a lot of duplication that this committee has focused on over the past couple of years. There's probably another, $5 billion in savings looking at duplicative systems too. So you can easily get to over $10 billion in savings. Move that inefficient spending out of the O&M spend and into the development where we're modernizing the government more appropriately.
Thank you. And my question, along the same lines, CIOs play an important role in oversight and governance of these projects. Are federal agencies, CIOs, effective, and what tools do they need to become more effective?
I think with the federal CIO, it's a mixed bag. We see some CIOs that are quite successful and others that aren't. That's why I think the legislation that this committee was instrumental in passing, FTARA, which strengthened the CIO authorities, is going to be really instrumental going forward so that we can manage this $80 billion more appropriately.
Right. The CIOs need to be more involved, and they need to be held accountable for these efforts, and it needs to be more uniform across the government. And if this legislation is successfully implemented, we should achieve those goals.
On the area of accountability, Mr. Dodaro, how long have you been with GAO?
This June will be 42 years.
Have you seen anybody in the federal government fired for cost or time overruns?
I'm trying to think. I'm sure there have been people who have been in big trouble as a result of it. I can tell you that. I know about that. I can't think of any specific personnel actions offhand, but there have been people who've been under a lot of scrutiny and have suddenly retired in that process. So yes, there have been people that have been moved out.
Good copy. Thank you. I yield back my time.